What is up? What is up? Good afternoon, Ryan. How we doing?
I'm doing well, producer AB. How are you, man?
I'm good. I'm good. What were you looking at today besides obviously the big news, the Coinbase IPO?
Coinbase, man. It was a wild day. We're going to talk about it. There's a lot of different stuff going on that I want to talk about that I've been seeing in articles, seeing all over the place. I've seen a lot of people going back into panic mode, like where we were like about 6 weeks ago with the market. It looks like I found an explanation for everything that's going on. We're definitely going to go through it, but I think we got to open the show with the hot thing that's going on with the Coinbase IPO. But before, just to keep with tradition of the rest of the show, I'm going to jump into reviewing SPY, QQQ, and the Russell 2000, and then I'll come back to Coinbase. I was actually charting a little bit, so I've been learning to play with the Benzinga Pro tool here a little bit more to kind of get things ready, but let me take the folks into SPY and let's talk about SPY. Again, if you are new to the show, welcome to the show. Do me a solid, smash the like button if you haven't, and subscribe to Benzinga. There's a ton of awesome shows on this platform and a lot of awesome programs. We come here live every Tuesday and Thursday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern to help answer any questions you may have about stocks and stock tickers. And to open up every show, we always talk about the big index funds, and sometimes we throw Bitcoin in there too. And we'll definitely have to talk about Bitcoin today because that was the big thing going on, which made no sense.
So you use SPY is SPY your favorite kind of index to get a good overall view of what the market's doing?
So for my long-term investing account, yes, SPY, but mainly QQQ is my go-to because I'm more of a tech stock guy. But SPY gives me an overall broad market perspective because I'm not just heavy in tech stocks. I also have growth stocks in there. I've got some value stocks in there that SPY kind of maps to very nicely. So I go with SPY, plus the S&P 500 is the hot thing that everyone likes to kind of look at when it comes to the stock market. And I enjoy it. It moves I've built my portfolio in a way that it moves very similarly to SPY. And I've seen a lot of patterns in the market move similar to SPY. We've had a diverged SPY, and most of the market stocks that a lot of the retail traders that we're friends with here and that we work with here play, but I think that we will very soon, in the coming days to weeks, to see that convergence return. So SPY, we review it every time we're on this show. We've been talking about it for a while. I've been saying, hey, we're in a massive uptrend. Folks, go out there, buy some bear stocks, hedge your accounts, buy some SQQQs, buy some UVXYs. And people that listened are DMing me with like, hey, look, my portfolio is balanced. And they're doing well today. VIX was actually down, which is weird. VIX is the volatility index parameter. It measures like the volatility within the market. That was down, but the market appears very volatile to folks that are in the Bitcoin sector, but we'll talk about that in a second. So SPY, again, one thing that I've been keeping my eye on and I've been warning traders about, it's this box right here, this gap. So I'm going to draw a box for you folks right here. I always lose the box tool for some reason, but that's the fun part of the show is I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna give it a nice little arrow here, and I'm gonna play games. I'm gonna have a little bit of fun. I like watching Neil in the morning because he's a pro at playing with the Benzinga tool here, and I say playing with because I enjoy it so much. It feels like it's fun to me, but it's really a powerful charting tool.
Yeah,
and right now I've got
toys on there.
Oh yeah, dude, you've got a lot. I'm planning on actually, since you guys gave me access to it, I'm actually planning on making a bunch of YouTube videos, kind of to show people how it works. They get so many questions about the tool, about people wanting to sign up. So I want to kind of make a few videos, and I'm going to run it by you guys before I put them live to be like, all right, this is how the tool works. This is this, so folks can see behind the hood of the machine here. And I'll be honest with you, it's helped me out a lot. Again, the one thing that was hot a few months ago was CCIV, and the CCIV and Lucid News came through Benzinga Pro faster than it came through the Bloomberg terminal. So that's one thing that I've always said, like, hey, they're fast, they know what they're doing, and they're quite a bit more affordable than the Bloomberg terminal. So here we go. So this is the big thing in SPY. You've got a gap here between 400 and 403. Historically, we know that gaps don't always have to be filled, but this is a broad index fund, so I imagine it will get filled. And I'm seeing this retracement finally start to happen, to go down. Why is this important to me? As a long-term trader, it's okay. It gives me more opportunities to buy on dips as this retraces down to fill this gap and then come back up to, I imagine, go to the 420, 415, 420 standpoint for SPY. But as a small cap trader, it's usually traditionally, this is a thing that you sometimes see. It's not 100% parallel all the time. When SPY comes down, you'll see money flow into small caps and mid caps. Those are your penny stocks, your Palantirs, your Skills, those stocks that are not in the $50, $60, $80 range, that are in the mid cap range stocks, small cap range stocks. So I imagine as this retraces down, we will start to see a parallel in the Russell 2000. So keep in mind here, you've got red here in SPY. So let's go to the Russell 2000. IWN is the ticker here. I was able to finally figure it out and how to bring it up on here. But again, that's just me and my learning curve. So if you look here, boom, solid green day, 1.24% in the small cap stocks. The Russell 2000 is finally beginning to show signs of a reversal. You can see here, MACD's curling. RSI's wicked up. She wants to party. And you've got the green candle right here that is ready to come back. It gives me hope for small caps. It shows me that, hey, we're going to get there. We're on our way up. So yeah, that's the Russell 2000. That's very quickly. I'm going to keep you. I don't want to spend too much time on this because we've got a lot to talk about that is much more important than just the broader index funds. And again, SPY and QQQ have been running in parallel. QQQ also has a gap right here. QQQ is your tech stocks, your Apples, and all that. So that's just a broader fund. So let's get into the big topic of today, which you folks may or may not know or may not have heard of, is Coinbase, the Coinbase IPO. Coinbase, for those of you that are new and have no idea what Coinbase is the crypto exchange platform. It's one of the biggest mainstream ones, one of the first ones that hit the market back a long time ago when crypto was first starting to get hot in 2017. That's where I made my first crypto purchases. I have moved to Gemini just because they offer crypto staking and an earn program, but that's just me personally. That's not me sponsoring or anything like that. I'd like to be as transparent as possible with you all. But Coinbase is a very awesome tool. Coinbase Pro, which is a tool that not a lot of retail traders take advantage of, is also a tool built into Coinbase. Same login, same password, same everything, which allows you to do limit orders and a lot of cool stuff like that. And the fees are a lot lower than Coinbase. Coinbase Pro fees are a lot lower than Coinbase, so you can get more bang for your buck. So sometimes you see people buying Coinbase Pro and then throw it into a different place that does the Bitcoin staking, like a BlockFi or a Gemini or other platforms that give you interest on your coins. So let's take a look here. Let's look at what happened. So this was a direct IPO, which is interesting. Direct IPOs differ. So I'm actually going to pull up something to kind of give you run a parallel. So a direct IPO versus a regular IPO. And we're going to go through some of the basic things. The most important thing that a lot of folks need to know during a direct IPO is in a direct listing IPO, employers and investors have the ability to sell off their existing stock to the public. In an IPO, the company sells part of the issuing stocks. They cannot sell everything. So what you'll have is you'll see a lot of insiders selling during direct IPOs. That's why you'll see a drop. You saw Coinbase last night. We got news that they gave every single one of their employees 100 shares of coin. So we could have expected a drop like this, but I'll be honest with you. I'm going to take you through my thought process for this real quick. But again, that's just the biggest thing right there. There's a lot you can read about direct listings versus IPOs. Personally, I prefer direct listings over IPOs. There's more volatility there, but it is much more affordable to retail traders. If they wait it out a little bit, you can get it at a decent price. But again, this goes back to the old adage of SPACs. SPACs. Why does everyone love SPACs? Why do retail traders love SPACs? Why do I love SPACs? And why do I take so much advantage of SPACs in my portfolio? Is because SPACs allow me to invest in companies at a $10 per share price point. If I can get in there early and get in there at a good point, and nowadays you can get most, if not any SPAC at $10 a share. And I can get into that company for $10 a share versus a company like, let's say, Coinbase at $340 a share, and the stock opened up at $381 per share flat. So the reason that I'm bringing up SPACs is because these are three avenues that companies go public. SPACs are via reverse mergers, so they'll find a blank check company. For example, CCIV is a blank check company from Churchill Capital. They went out and found Lucid. Lucid said, hey, we want to come to the public markets within the United States. Let's reverse merge. So this company is already on the stock market. This company wants to be on the stock market, but wants to get on the stock market quickly because they need the money. That's why there's the PIPE fund. That's how the money comes in. institutional investors buy into the pipe, they put money into the pipe, and then boom, they reverse merge, and it comes onto the stock exchange, and the ticker symbol changes. Then you have your regular IPO where they file the S1, and the direct IPOs where they also file an S1. But you have the disadvantage of, in a direct IPO, they can sell off directly into day one. We saw this with Palantir. They start off shaky, so I'm going to pull Palantir up real quick, but I will jump back.
That's what I was gonna suggest. We look at some of these other companies that have gone public via direct listing. I know Palantir comes to mind. Roblox, obviously, recently.
Bingo, that's
Spotify.
a perfect one. That's a perfect one.
Spotify.
Yeah, let's machine gun through all those actually, and then I promise I will get questions into the chat. I promise we will go back to coin as well. So fantastic. So you'll see here. Look, I'm trying to zoom in. There's so many. I'm so used to looking at Coinbase's chart, which is it's like a virgin chart. It's so new. But look here, like Palantir, it had a stagnant increase. The insiders didn't sell off until we saw a bit more come in, and then you saw the big sell off happen. No, I'm sorry. I'm in the 1 minute chart. That's why this chart looks so off. It's like this. Like this doesn't make sense. This isn't what I remember buying into, because I bought in during direct IPO day for Palantir, and as you can see, it pays off. Direct IPOs start off very shaky. I'm going to lower the MACD and the RSI. They start off shaky. Look, it opened up at 10. It went to low of $9.11. It had shaky 2 days, essentially a shaky 4 shaky days, then 1 green day. Then it was shaky. But over time, what you'll see is eventually the insiders will stop selling. This will stop being a suitable day trade for day traders, and the stock will ramp up. And as you can see, went to a high of $33 here, and at a certain point during January was at a high of $45. This is when this sell-off stops happening. That's when this direct IPO, the insider selling, stops being such a hindrance and a deterrence to the stock and the trade. It stops being a beautiful thing for day traders to come in. So, for example, day traders, had they put in their limit orders early this morning, they would have gotten into the stock at 381. I saw a lot of traders get into it. They got into the stock at 381, sold at 420. Again, we're talking about Coinbase. Boom, day trade right there. We're going to go into that chart. But again, this is a sample. You'd mentioned Spotify. Let's go to Spotify. Spotify right here. Actually, Roblox is another one too. Like you mentioned, we actually streamed the day of the Roblox direct IPO as well.
Yep.
So you look here again. Ugly first few days for Spotify. Ugly first few days. But I want you guys to think of, with these stocks, it's more for long-term investing. Spotify right now, Bryce, even at an ugly red day, is almost less than double of where it was at its direct IPO in 2018. So to me, these are, again, great long-term investment stocks. It had a rough IPO. It opened up hot. I guess huge insider selling. These are people that are employees of the company who get stocks. So for example, everyone in Coinbase got 100 shares of Coinbase last night. Imagine waking up to that. That's a significant amount of money overnight. But again, if they were smart, they shouldn't sell it. Again, just for tax purposes, I would imagine they will hold the stock for a year, then sell it, so you don't have to pay capital gains tax. But of course, there's always going to be that one person who's like, screw the stock, I want the cash, which nowadays is not good, because last night the dollar took a huge dive. But look, stock goes up, came back down, and then at a certain point, when the stock stagnation stops, you'll see the stock start to stabilize. It'll gap up. It'll start moving around. Spotify is a very, very hard stock to map to a direct IPO listing example because of the industry that they're in. But again, it's one of those stocks that in 2020 was able to shine. They got Joe Rogan, they got the Kardashian podcast, they got the Obama's podcast. They've got a lot going on. So the stock has been great. They expanded into podcasting from music, which is a huge sector. I actually, for my graduate thesis, one of the big aspects of it for me was music streaming and podcast streaming. So I've had the pleasure of studying Spotify very, very closely and their business practices. It's a fantastic company. They do have a lot of growing pains when they try to grow. That's one thing, because there's so much competition and so much saturation in that industry. But just from a direct IPO standpoint, it struggled here, as you can see, struggled for a bit and then eventually caught its legs and flew up. I think Coinbase, let's actually go to Roblox and then we'll go to Coinbase, because Roblox is more of a, what is the ticker for Roblox? RBLX, right?
Yep, you got it.
Perfect. We actually streamed live on the day of the Roblox. That was when I was still very new.
Roblox trading higher right now than what its direct listing price was? Okay.
Yep. So IPO opened up at $64.50. Aunt Kathy Wood came in that night, if you remember. She bought, the stock went to 93, then sold off the next day, and now it's slowly stagnating up, and then it came back down, and now it's curved back up. But the main difference between Roblox and Coinbase. Roblox, why didn't I, for example, why didn't I buy Coinbase? Why didn't I buy Roblox? Why were so many big investors deterred by Roblox? Roblox's balance sheet and their financials are not very attractive. Just coming from a completely an objective standpoint, take a look at them. They have a huge cash burn rate. Their customer acquisition cost is high. They need to spend a lot of money to keep you on that platform. Now go look at Coinbase's financials. They have one of the best balance sheets I've ever seen. Will they be able to keep it up? I think they will. I think we're still in the infancy of crypto. We're still in the infancy of mass adoption of crypto. Tesla bought their crypto, their Bitcoin through Coinbase. I still think they're new. But again, Roblox, I think personally, what I'm waiting for, I do want a position in Roblox eventually. What I'm waiting for is their first quarter round of earnings, which I think it's coming up. Yeah, so Roblox estimate is in June. I want to wait for that. We'll definitely cover it when that happens as well. I imagine when that earnings happen, we will come back down towards around the IPO price, and it will calm down somewhere, again, depending on where the market is. If the market is hot, it'll probably not take such a big hit. But I think that once the mass financials come out with its first earnings, this one will hurt a little bit more. So let's go to the creme de la creme, Coinbase. Oh, folks, this one was a wild ride. I was so excited for this one. I'm still excited for this one. And full transparency, I bought into the IPO at IPO open, and I'm looking to average down again. I bought a very, very, very small position in the open. I got in at the 381 price. This is something that I usually never disclose, but I'm going to disclose it here for full transparency. I bought a handful of shares right here at the open. I had a limit order. I got in, but again, I bought in with the full intention of buying my lion's share closer to the bottom, and then over time buying more. But my main thesis with Coinbase is same with Roblox. My big purchase, my big lion's share of Coinbase, I will be buying after their next quarter earnings, because these past quarter earnings that came out that caused Coinbase to go up to this $150 billion valuation that has caused such a massive spike here. Again, the market right now is humbling Coinbase's valuation to about 65 billion, I believe. I'm just going to quickly double check the market cap on Coinbase as we discuss it here, just really quickly. And personally, the only reason I think that Coinbase will be further humbled and come and stagnate around the $300 price point after their first, 65 billion is their market cap right now, is just because Q1 of 2021 was so hot for crypto. Big buys were coming in, big movement was happening. I don't think that will continue into the next quarter unless we get really, really ugly inflation financial data next month. This month, the CPI data that came out was only up by 0.2%. Even that caused a massive spike in Bitcoin, almost reaching just $100 shy of $65,000 per coin. That wasn't a coincidence. People are ready to move into this anti-inflationary asset. So I think that if next month's next month's inflation data comes in, and that's uglier, which is expected to be about 1% from 0.6, it will cause a jump and people will flock to Coinbase. So running a basic analysis on this one, we can't do much. We don't have much of a chart. This is a 1-minute chart that we're working with. It came down to a floor of 310. Its resistance is currently sitting at 345, about 345, and it's kind of bouncing around this channel. I imagine we will come down lower and get close to the 310 area probably sometime tomorrow. But looking at the level 2 data that you're able to see on the big selling has stopped. The big sell-offs, the big exits have slowly began to exit. It's not happening as often as we were seeing this morning. There was big sell blocks that we saw this morning, and I think that those have kind of calmed down, and we'll start to see institutional investors start coming in. We'll start to see big buys coming in. And personally, I'm waiting for that 7 p.m. email from ARK. I'd be very curious to see if Kathy Wood's team bought or not. I imagine if I was a betting man, I'd say they bought, just based off of how they operate in their playbook a little bit. But again, we'll definitely have to wait and see. She does play an effect on the markets when she buys a stock because she's one of the most brilliant investment teams out there. But I do agree. A Bird Swak is saying in the chat, 100 billion valuation maybe in 20 years. I don't think so. I don't think 100 billion valuation is too crazy for this company. One of the early investors was talking about this company earlier today. He said, think about it like this. He said you can go out there and you can buy Bitcoin and you can just bet on this one asset being the champion asset into the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, right? Or you can bet on the casino that operates all of these assets. You can buy the casino. Again, goes back to we've discussed it on this channel so many times, the shovel and axe plays. For example, for EV cars, you have EV chargers, you have batteries, you have all this other tech that goes around it, LiDAR. And I think Coinbase right now, it did open up very high. I don't think that it is a company stock that should be sitting at $400 today. But I think in 5 years, or 2 to 3 to 5 years, it could come back to a $400 stock. And that's my intentions for it. My intentions is I have an account where I just buy these stocks, let them sit in there for a couple of years, and then I come back to them as a long-term investment, and they tend to pay off. And that strategy has worked for me personally because I like long-term investing and I have a lot more patience. So one big thing that was going on today in the market, everyone was saying that this IPO is causing a massive sell-off. Why is Mara crashing? Why is Ride crashing? Why is SOS crashing? Why is Microvast crashing? So I want to show you something. This actually came across. This is an article that came across that was sent to me, and I shared it on my Twitter, and I wanted to share it with you guys as well. So I have to actually, I'm going to open it in a new tab just so that we can I'm going to zoom in. It's a little bit blurry. I apologize for that. But it says, take a look here. Largest selling block program in 3 weeks draws large future sales. The tumble in stocks this afternoon came as algos are algorithms, I'll explain that in a second, were let loose on the biggest sell strategies since March 25th. So today they unleashed a massive sell within the algos, 1,196 name program that hit just before 2 p.m. in New York. Simultaneously with that, more than 18,000 E-mini S&P futures were unloaded as the market plummeted. So this drop wasn't a natural drop. It wasn't a drop that was, okay, something's wrong, all right, another wave of COVID, something bad's happening. No, it was a market calculated algorithmic drop. What are these algorithms? I got so many questions of people asking me, what are these algorithms? Why are they in charge? This is America. Why are algorithms in charge of our money? Well, there's hedge funds out there with billions upon billions of dollars. Some of them have hundreds of billions of dollars, and I'm sure there's algos out there. I'm sure there's hedge funds out there that have upwards close to trillions of dollars. These companies, they can't sit there and trade every single one of these stocks one by one, buying and selling like retail traders do. They develop algorithms that literally cost millions of dollars to buy and sell for them formulaically. And these algorithms can be tuned by the programmers. So they can tune them to buy, they can tune them to sell, they can tune them to adjust the stock. We call that manipulation. They call it algorithmic trading. That is what happened. So I promised folks I'd go over Mara. I'd show them Mara because that's a stock that for some reason everyone comes to ask me about just because I talk about it so much. But take a look at Mara here for a second, right? Bitcoin is at an all-time high. Everything's chugging along. We know Mara's trajectory into 2022. We know we have a presser due towards the end of the month where they're going to tell us their machines were deployed, their new exahash rate, all of this stuff coming out. What would be causing a massive sell-off? Are hedge funds that broke that they need to sell this much Mara in order to go buy Coinbase and then sell Coinbase and sit on cash, especially when cash is this low? I don't think so. I think it's more market manipulation and market algorithmic manipulation. So it doesn't bother me. So I want you to take a look at a pattern here that occurs with Mara. I put this picture on my Twitter as well. Look at this. Imagine, I want to see if I can, where's the drawing tool? Can I draw here? All right, there we go. I think that should do it. So take a look at it here. 1, 2, okay, wow, okay. Drawing curvy lines for me. All right, 1, 2, 3.
How much is that drop off on Mara? Where did it end up today versus where it started?
So it opened up at 50.96 and came down to a low of 42.26. It's recovering in the after hours.
So
Producer
about 5%.
AB, can you do me a solid? Do you know where the actual paint I got the brush tool, but it's not a.
I think if you go up there, click
brush.
No, up. Yeah, there you go.
This one, right?
Should be able. Yep.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. So this isn't cooperating. I'm just going to jump to the screenshot that I have on my Twitter, and hopefully that can help alleviate some of the pain a lot of folks have. So take a look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Mara operates in this pattern that it goes down, up, down, up, down, up. It consolidates for a pattern of time, and then it legs up. Comes down, consolidates, then legs up. So you need to be able to kind of operate and play with this. Nothing has fundamentally changed in this company or any of the companies that have dropped off, for the matter of the fact. People say, Mara, why don't you talk about Riot? Same parallel with Riot. Riot also took a dive of 15% today, recovering in the after hours. Again, if you look at Riot, it's got the same pattern that happens. Riot's leg up was a little bit stronger here because they've got a lower float. So once the float's lower, they move a little bit faster and they're able to adjust quicker. And it moves just because that's how it works. If you have if your company's float is lower, that means that your stock can move much faster with the same amount of volume. The stock price will go up faster. Sung is right. Sung says most institutional investors have not came into coin yet. Yeah, we have no clue. We'll find out tonight. Kathy Wood's the one that sends out the email with their companies, but we'll definitely start seeing more institutional investors come in. I'm not saying go out and buy the stock now. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just saying I have hope for the stock and where it's headed into the future.
I expect it to be a kind of a busy day in that email because I think there were a lot of, besides Coinbase, there were a lot of dips with some bigger tech names. I mean, we saw, like we talked about, Russell doing well, but that's not really what Kathy's looking at. She's looking at these big name growth tech stocks. So there were a few dips that maybe we'll see that she bought into.
I imagine she bought more Palantir. Palantir had a fantastic presentation today, but Palantir had another red day of 6%. Palantir's again.
You're gonna hate me for this, Ryan, but since we did Mara, since we did Riot, I think we got to do SOS real quick.
Okay, sure, no problem. Let me go to SOS again. Just transparency. I have nothing against SOS. I just don't. I personally don't play it because so the thesis behind not playing SOS is not that there's anything wrong with it. I'm not going to allege anything. It's just because I with Mara, I saw the growing pains. I was part of the growing pains of a brand new blockchain company coming up. And I know how those offerings work. The dilution comes. They have to buy more miners. The growth there. I just no longer have the patience there. Plus, I'm so exposed to crypto through Bitcoin, through Mara itself. That's the only reason. But again, if you look at,
but you've kind of done a 180 on SOS because you used to really like it, right?
I liked it. I liked the company a lot. But what happened with their trajectory of growth? It's first of all, a lot of shady stuff came out about it. I'm not going to badmouth any company on this platform ever. A lot of shady stuff came out about it. They came out in front of it, which I commend them for. It's just the main reason for me. It was always SOS was always a scalp. It was always meant to be a swing trade. I got in. They had an offering somewhere here, or where I got in around $5.30, and I sold it somewhere around here between 11 and 13 as I scaled out of the position. I was hoping to get back into it down here. Then I started seeing a lot of weird stuff about it. And I said, hey, I don't need that headache. I chose to deploy my money into more of my long-term investing. And that coincidentally paralleled with all the red that happened during February. So I never had a chance to come back in or spend much time going into it. But again, I will always objectively review any stock that we have here. So just taking a look at it here, the MACD's been in a strong downtrend for a while. It's been flat here. I don't see much signs of a reversal happening here. RSI is heading downward. Let's take a look at the chart here. So what am I doing here? Oh, I got the wrong tool.
Which, Ryan, I think just real quick, I think that's a good lesson for all investors to learn is that it's okay to kind of change your mind about a stock. Just because you like it at one point or just because you buy it at one point doesn't mean it has to be a lifelong commitment or that you have to keep doubling down as it drops, and it's okay to just get out of it and cut your losses and move on. There's always great investment opportunities.
Yeah, and you can always come back to it. Maybe one day SOS is a $20, $30 stock. The growing pains have stopped. They come out with an investor presentation or a presser where it shows me a clean trajectory for them into 2022, 2024, and then I jump in there as an investor. For example, Rocket Mortgage, when that huge Wall Street bet squeeze happened, it hit my price target of where I wanted to see it in 5 years. So I sold and got out, and I'm looking to again re-enter it. I'm still super bullish on them, but at the time I don't have a position. It doesn't mean we have anything against the stock or anything like that. It just means we need to calibrate our funds and our assets, especially in a market like this that's wonky. Just you don't want to throw your money at just anything. You want to make sure that it's something that's stable, and especially if you get stuck in it. Like for example, let's say you buy a stock and it comes down pretty hard, you can confidently hold that stock without it being a headache for you every night you go to sleep. All right, oh my God, SOS is down 10% today. Whereas, for example, Mara is down 15% today, and I'm going to sleep like a baby tonight because I know where they're going into 2024. I'm sorry, 2022. So again, that's just the parallel there for me in those use cases. You can always change your mind, never fall or never die on any company's stock. So let's take a look at SOS here. SOS is fighting. It's a fighter stock. I'll give it that. It's got a massive following here in the Wall Street Bets community, in the FinTwit community. There's a lot of bigger names that like to talk about this stock a lot. It's got kind of a support line set up here around the $4.15 area, $4.20. Again, excuse me. I'll give it some leeway here. It's kind of got like this double bottom situation that happened here, but there's a lot of gaps that happened here within the stock. Again, this wasn't due to a pump, so I don't attribute this to a pump. This was actually due to a lot of good news that was coming out about the company. They had purchased a lot of machinery. Their offerings were closing very, very quickly. They were direct offerings, so that means they were directly to certain investors that wanted to buy into the company, which is fantastic. And then we started to see a lot of different stuff happen in the market during the red. So this is attributed mainly to the red. And then you had, unfortunately, the short report that came out from Hindenburg, which, of course, any short report that comes out, you'll have a batch of sellers and people who will sell based off of fear without waiting for validation. Personally, if there's a short report that comes out about a company, what I like to do is read it first, understand it completely inside and out, figure out how much of it I can verify myself, how much of it I can debunk myself, and then I will wait for the company to let me know about it. And again, don't go into any single company with the expectation of, especially in a small cap stock, especially in a Chinese small cap stock, because these short report sellers love to attack Chinese-based companies. That's just how they operate. They're publicly known to hate Chinese-based companies. These folks will attack your stocks. So go into it doing an immense amount of research. So if this ever happens to your stock, you can come into there and kind of protect it. So again, it's bounced here. It's sort of fighting to kind of. Oh, I'm just dropping lines everywhere, aren't I? I came in here so confident with the Benzinga Pro Tool today, but I'm having a little bit of growing pains. But that's okay.
This is a great comment from Birds Walk, Cats Fly. Stocks go up and down, especially bubble plays like Riot and Mara and SOS, and you can take advantage of them without, being tied to the company. And there's a lot of traders that all they do is look for kind of high volatility plays like that, and they'll trade them on both sides, up and down.
Exactly. This is what I tell my patrons all the time. A stock like Mara, I have a large position in my long account, but also in my Webull, I love to scalp it. So when I saw it during the crazy redness come down to 28, I was like, hey, this is probably a good scalp opportunity. A lot of people bought it and then recently sold it for close to like $55 or whatever high it went to. And you can scalp the heck out of these Bitcoin stocks. You literally have one massive catalyst, the price of Bitcoin, which is running 24 hours that you can kind of watch and operate as it's moving. So you have that, and you can kind of use that to your advantage. Again, today is an anomaly in the Bitcoin market. I haven't seen something like this in a long time where you hit all-time highs and you have super red. But again, I'm confident in all these Bitcoin stocks. Producer AB, is it cool if we move to stocks from the chat now?
Yeah, I saw. Well, before we do that, I want to go back to Coinbase for one second. I know there's not a lot to look at the chart real quick, but I think we had some people come in since we last looked at it.
It's taken up towards the. Look at that. Is that Aunt Kathy Wood coming in to save the day?
We'll see. I don't know. You said, when does that email come out? 7 p.m. Eastern.
Around 7 p.m. Yeah. So that's the cool thing is if it comes out around 7 p.m., we'll see the Webull folks and the after-hour traders come in and scoop this thing up, maybe like Roblox.
What's that resistance line that's coming up to hit right now?
444.
It's coming up to 444 right now?
I'm sorry, 344.
344. I was going to say, wow, that's a big jump.
Let me make the screen look. Is this easier for you? Is this easier this way, or should I stick to the regular?
go full screen real quick so we can see it.
Yeah, so you've got it here at 344, and the stock price right now it's fighting to get there. And I think I'll be honest with you. Let me get a hold of my RSI and MACD to kind of help me out here to see where we're going. Our MACD isn't giving me a good sign that we're going to break that resistance right now. I think I'm going to need my volume. I'm going to need volume here to be able to kind of get me. Usually here we don't really bring in too much volume. Volume scanner for some reason, because we're in the after hours, so volume at this point isn't too important, but because it's usually low. But let me turn on volume. As you can see here, volume has significantly dropped into the after hours. Right at close, volume has dropped massively. We went from, for example, at the 4 p.m. was 236,000 to literally 20,500, 1,000, 6,000. So volume has significantly dropped.
I think that can be expected because not everyone has access to after hours trading. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. It'll be interesting to see tomorrow kind of the volume, if it's a fraction of what it was today, or if it kind of maintains a very high volume.
I completely agree. Again, this is to me, this is a long-term high conviction play for me personally, and we'll be reviewing it, and we'll be coming back to it periodically through the stream, hopefully, to kind of discuss it. Was there any specific questions you wanted to go over about coin while we have the chart here?
I mean, I just think it's going to be kind of fascinating to watch, like with these other direct listed companies. Like it seems like a lot of them have kind of dropped below what they were listed at, but then the ones that are good companies, at least, are good investments, will reach back up to that point. So me personally, I'm going to kind of sit on the sidelines for a second and wait. And if this drops down to about that, like you mentioned, we already saw that one resistance level. What is it down there at 310?
Right.
If it gets back down there, I think that'd be very enticing. Also, real quick, shout out Neil. Saw the $5 super sticker.
Oh, snap. It's our buddy Neil.
I
had the pleasure of doing a live stream with him on the Benzinga platform a few weeks back.
Yeah, we got to get
those Saturday streams.
Got to get you back on Get Technical too someday, because you're great at breaking down these charts. And then let's get into some tickers from the chat. I know I saw Lee threw out.
Lee was asking about Ebang. Yeah, let's go to Ebang. I wanted to talk about Ebang.
It's another Chinese stock, right?
It is. It's another Chinese stock that got hit by a short report by Hindenburg again. This is the thing. You got to be careful with these Chinese stocks. You have to go in there with high conviction. These guys, again, I'm going to give you a quick overview. For those of you who are new to it, it's not a low float. It's a 127 mil float. It had recent earnings come in earnings didn't come out yet for this one, but a parallel stock that works in Bitcoin hardware came out with earnings that were very bad, and it kind of hurt this stock as well. And then you had the short report, which hurt this stock even more. But there was a fantastic rebuttal to this, reply from Ebang directly, which I'm trying to find right now. You'll see, by the way, I get a lot of questions about these class action lawsuits. People are like, is this going to hurt the stock price? Look at how many that are here. You'll see this on almost every single stock. Every single SPAC has one of these litigation investigations. It's just literally lawyers running around trying to make money off of shareholders signing up for losses, and usually they never win these. You never hear about any of these being successful. So I never let those things bother me. So let's talk about this Ebang short report response. So they said for the past Q1 of 2021, I plan to provide shareholders with an update in the connection with the upcoming filings for our annual report, which again, their annual report is upcoming. As a result, some of the articles that have surfaced last week and input of questions that I've received from many shareholders, I decided to accelerate the timing of this letter in order to address some of the questions and concerns that have been raised. So I'm going to jump down here to the very, very more important things. They've launched Ebang X. Well, what did I just do there? They've launched Ebang X, which is I swear to you, I know how to use computers. I don't know what the heck just happened.
We'll find it. I'm seeing we were getting a lot of tickers in the chat, so we might have to just rapid fire through some cards real quick.
All right, so let's take.
What was that?
So long story. What happened?
That
was a motorcycle that was just going by my window. Sorry about that.
It sounded like one of the Ebang that's not. There was the one day where Ebang and Ehang both were like flying super high. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Ehang is a different Chinese stock. I was gonna say it was one of the Ehang helicopters coming in.
They're coming to pick me up. They like that. I like the company.
Yeah. But
But go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, someone threw out GameStop, and it's been a minute since we've
Oh, come
looked at
on with the
GameStop.
GameStop, man.
Hey,
All
it's
right,
been a minute, and they had a big day today. I want to look at it.
we'll talk about GameStop. I promise. I just want to. We got to answer Scott's thing. So Ebang is holding strong here at 463 at the floor. I have hope for them. They had some really good news. They're talking about acquisitions coming up very soon. They've launched their crypto trading platform. So it's got a bright future. It's just going to take some time for the stink of the short report to come off. So if you're patient, it can make you some good money. And again, it's also a good scalp stock that you've seen here. Even during the short report stuff, you can buy it down low, sell it here for like 1 or 2%. But let's go to GameStop for producer
Just
AB,
real
for my
quick,
buddy.
just real quick.
Of
They
course,
had a
no,
good
of course.
day.
I was totally joking. So let's see what's happening. GameStop shares are trading higher after the company announced a notice of redemption of 216.4 million in principal amounts of 10% senior notes due in 2023. So they're doing a note fundraising round, which is very smart. They had a very small offering. Now they're raising money through a note. I'm still flabbergasted at the price of this company and how high it is. Just it goes to show the sentiment of people holding it. But let's see how they did. They had an 18. Wow, holy crap! They had an 18% day. Okay, that's fantastic. Congratulations. People are
18%. I'd take that like for a year. You know,
dude. I take that. I take that any year. That's fantastic. So people actually joke about this and they say GameStop is a good hedge against SPY in the market tanking. It seems to be true. Like when the market's ugly, GameStop goes up. But we don't know how long this hedge will last. So I'm personally not buying any of the shares. But again, it's got a fantastically strong chart intraday. It's doing, and after hours down 1% after 18% is literally nothing. So we'll have to see how this holds tomorrow. It looks like you've got resistance here at about 215, 216, or what is this? I'm sorry. This is 218. So again, we'll give it a 218 resistance here. So it wants to break out here. Well, there's a lot that has to go into this stock for it to kind of go there. Sung is telling us that coin just broke 345. Let's quickly jump back.
I'm also seeing a lot of comments about different altcoins between Link, XRP, Doge. I mean, we might have to open up a new tab to look at some of these coins, but I'd be curious at doing that just because
sure,
you know, with the altcoins and stuff, you can't really. Not with stocks, you can't put a lot of like DD into their fundamental, whatever. But we can still look at the charts.
It's so hard.
Look at the charts.
So hard. Yeah, we broke resistance, by the way, on Coinbase, so that's fantastic.
I wonder if that's people anticipating here in like an hour and a half some Kathy news, and they want to get in early before the Kathy.
Or maybe we're just pumping Coinbase. Maybe we've become pumpers. I don't know. I really hope not. I'm totally joking. I was totally joking. I hope no one ever takes that seriously. SEC, if you're watching, that was a huge joke. That was a huge joke. You wanted to take a look at some of the altcoin charts?
Yeah, let's do it. Also, maybe people sold their cryptos on Coinbase, and you know, since it takes a while, they're finally getting their money out now, so they can go out and buy the stock.
Right. Is it okay if we use Coindex's website?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Perfect. So let's go to see if I can make this bigger.
Which one are we looking at right now?
We're looking at good old Doge.
Doge. Someone said the chart looks amazing. I mean, shoot, I can't even lie. That does look kind of.
This website is super laggy. Okay. I'm gonna just make sure what intro. I think this is an hourly chart. If I'm not sort of. It's all right. Let me find another website that has a better chart for Dogecoin. Dogecoin.com. Okay, Dogecoin.com. How do you not have the chart for your Dogecoin.com? How do you not have the chart? Let's go to TradeView. Has to have it. TradeView has not let us down. There it is. Okay, let's go to full length feature chart. Doge has been on a massive run just for the past like 24, 48 hours. It's had a massive run.
This is 80% over the last like 2 or 3 days.
Oh yeah. It's look, the past yesterday it was 33%. Today it's 30%. Elon loves Doge. I get it. It's Occam's razor. It's the most easy solution. The most easy solution is the one to go with. And I get the mentality behind Doge, and I like the principles behind Doge because it's not something that is it's not a hedge because they produce so many more Doge coins every time something happens. Doge is not a limited coin like most other coins. like Bitcoin, like ETH. I think ETH's limited as well, if I recall correctly. But take a look here, Doge, massive run up. Again, I'd be very careful with buying these higher tips. Again, this is running mainly because Bitcoin ran, mainly because Papa Elon was talking about it. Let me see if we can bring Elon's tweet up. I think he tweeted about something about wanting to mine Bitcoin. I'm sorry, wanting to mine Dogecoin.
Wait, Elon tweeted about Doge?
Elon tweeted about Doge. I believe I
shocked.
saw something. I saw something about like, hey, mining. He's been deleting a lot of his tweets, though. That's what kind of bothers me. He's saying some praises for Neo and then deleted the tweet. I think it's with that SEC crap that's going on. I can't find it.
All right, let's go to Ethereum real quick because I've seen
please.
Ethereum all-time highs.
I'm a sucker for Ethereum.
I am so upset that I know like a couple weeks ago Ethereum was trading at like 1,600 or something, and go right in that little gap right there. Here? Yeah, and I was looking at it and I was like, "There's no way it's not going to be at $2,000." And
buddy, you follow me on Twitter. I was throwing the charts up there. I was like, guys, this is going to break out. It was a super beautiful bull flag that formed on Ethereum, and it kind of broke out. Same thing with Litecoin. A lot of people aren't paying attention to Litecoin. Litecoin, same parallel. It had a flag. It broke out of that descending flag, and it's been having a fantastic run. But Ethereum, I'll be honest with you, a lot of people are sleeping on this asset long term. Take a look at it. It's up, overtaken its highs of where it was in 2017, right before their crash. Look at this. It's sort of a cup and handle. I'm not going to say cup and handle because we've got the really brilliant technical people here in the chat that again, by definition, this is not a cup and handle. But again, it looks like a cup, and then you got your handle there forming. But again, it's a very, very beautiful chart. It's one of those coins that I like. Should we go to Litecoin?
Let's do it. And you've had some good calls on the price points in cryptos. I remember, what was that for? You said you thought Bitcoin would be at 40K by Valentine's Day, and then it hit like that exact. I don't know if it was that exact number.
So 40K, I was able to predict exactly to the day of. 50K, I said by Valentine's Day, but I missed it by 12 hours, which is, again, I'll give myself that leeway.
I don't know. Never mind. I'm not as impressed. 12 hours. I'm just kidding. That's pretty
God
good.
Damn it. Right,
so when's your price? What's your date for Ethereum? What, 2,500? What are we at now?
Ethereum. Let's go to the chart. Okay, let's do this live. I'll show you how I kind of map it. And again, it could be devastatingly wrong, but it again, these coins are such a high variable stake. Here, we're in such a massive uptrend. I need my RSI too.
I see Smiv in the chat. He's talking about Ethereum, Litecoin, and Cardano. Are you in Cardano at all? We can look at that chart
I'm not in Cardano. I'm not in Cardano just because with the update that's coming to Ethereum with Ethereum 2.0, a lot of people are saying it'll address the issues.
Right. It's interesting. And I don't know if you know anything about Nano too, but people are talking about Nano. People are talking about Nano kind of meeting a similar need as far as being able to do like microtransactions very quickly. But I don't know. I mean, between Ethereum 2, Cardano, Nano, like which one is actually going to fill that need? We'll see. But I love, I do love Ethereum's use case here because
I love Ethereum.
It's starting to make more sense to me that you have like different cryptos to fit different needs. And I like, saying, oh, like Bitcoin can be more of the buy and hold, like the gold version of the cryptos, whereas Ethereum might be used for more transactions. Obviously, it's the one being used backing all the NFTs. But then Cardano too and Nano could get very interesting.
I completely agree. I mean, I'm ignorant when it comes to Nano, so I'm not going to talk about it just because I'll be honest with you, I don't know much about Nano. But like, for example, with Ethereum, with Cardano, with Link is also another powerful one that a lot of people talk about and love. It's had a massive run. Again, yeah, someone is saying in the chat the fees are killer. Yeah, it's those gas fees with Ethereum that are hurting it, but with 2.0, the fork coming during the summer, it should hopefully help solve a lot of these issues. Cardano has already solved a lot of those issues, but again, as you can see with any crypto that comes out, it requires first, it requires a lot of trust and building its reputation and mass adoption. So as you can see here, just take a look at the chart here. For Ethereum to get to where it is now, it took from 2015 until now. This massive run here was the first the first crypto bull run we had in 2017, which was short-lived. Unfortunately, the massive sell-offs were triggered by the person who owned a lot of, the creator of Litecoin, sold all of his Litecoin, created a massive distrust in the community, and it triggered sell-offs in Bitcoin, Litecoin, and a lot of other cryptos. And it took until this year and last year where we saw this mass adoption start to kind of bump up. And a lot of people are saying Ethereum to 10,000 the same way people
So
are
what is
saying
that? Like about 2,400 right now.
about 2,400, almost
So let's
2,400.
just for fun.
Sure.
Let's just make a guesstimate on when we
Sure.
think it'll hit 3K. If you think it'll hit 3K.
Okay, I definitely think it'll hit 3K. I'm literally going to walk very, very basic analysis of how its movements operate. So we've got the big dips that occur here, and then it starts to recover, goes to an RSI of 70, comes down. This is the first time we're breaking out an RSI of 70. So I imagine we can either have a pullback here where we come back down parallel to what happened here into the RSI, where it comes down. And then if we parallel the same movement that happened here, I could say we go to probably 3,000 sometime in the beginning to middle of June. So I don't want to put a date on it. I definitely have to sit down and analyze it a lot more closely and give it more respect to the chart to be able to get it out there. But I'd say sometime towards the middle or end of June, I'd say more confidently, let's just put a date on it, 4th of July. Let's just throw that out there. 4th of July, Ethereum 3,000.
All right. I think by 4th of July, Ethereum will be at 3,500.
Okay, perfect. Let's do it. Dude, as someone who owns the altcoin, I hope you win this one.
Wait, do you call it an alt? I don't even. Is Ethereum? I don't think I wouldn't. Is Ethereum considered an altcoin? No, it's like it's a main. I mean, what Ethereum and Bitcoin
purists call it an altcoin, but I come from the methodology of I love Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum. I have all three of them. I've got more Bitcoin now than I have Ethereum, but again, one big one that everyone sleeps on is Litecoin. Litecoin is so fast compared to Bitcoin and Ethereum, and its fees are much lower. It's just try a basic transaction of sending Litecoin from one brokerage to another. You'll see how fast it is compared to Bitcoin and Ethereum. Again, they both have their own technologies and assets built into them, but Litecoin is what I can foresee being something banks maybe start to adopt for it. And that's, again, going back to XRP and Ripple. That technology is even faster than Litecoin. So again, a lot of people are asking for it, so I'm going to jump to it. XRP has had a massive, fantastic run. I'm going to pull up the Kraken chart. I trust Kraken more. As you can see here, it's had a massive bull run going from, again, just a few months ago, the stock was barely 30 cents. I'm sorry, the coin was barely 30 cents, and now we are here at $1.80. So it's had a massive, massive run here. Fantastic, fantastic run. But again, always please be careful. They are still in the middle of SEC trials and dealing with all that crap. It still hasn't been listed to Coinbase back yet, to the U.S. public markets. But again, you'll definitely have to see it. You have LTC up, so I'm going to pull up LTC as well, just so we can cover the big four. LTC, Litecoin, again, was in a descending, essentially a bull flag here. It broke out recently up here, and it's made its bull run to 280, which has been its kind of resistance point, has been around 280, 282. Just basing it off of this, I think it can break this resistance point. But again, Litecoin is marred with the distrust of their founder selling all of their coins. It's one of the only big three coins that has not exceeded its previous highs in 2017, because that's what happens that's why Satoshi needs to stay hidden. That's why that figure was never named as one person who made Bitcoin, because you have to hide the founder, because if they ever sell, it creates a massive distrust. It's like if Elon Musk tomorrow says, I'm selling all of my Tesla shares, you're going to see that stock come back down to the JP Morgan price target of $150. So that's just basic coins.
Yeah, I've heard before someone say that, like, if Satoshi did sell some of his Bitcoin, that people could tell because it would come out of like a block. But I didn't understand that, because I thought the whole point was that it was anonymous. So I don't know either way.
So it really depends on what he could do if he is really one person. I don't believe it's one person. If he has it scattered across multiple wallets, the only wallet that you can actually trace for Satoshi would be the very first Bitcoin transaction that's ever occurred in history. From what wallet to what wallet, you can track those two wallets. But all other wallets that he could have essentially been moving his coin around at all times to even buy and sell, we wouldn't know. Honestly, we wouldn't know how or when he would be doing that. And I think that's the beauty of it. And I would imagine someone like Satoshi wouldn't be selling a massive quantity of Bitcoin just because of the thesis behind Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard some people say, like, based on the amount of Bitcoin that Satoshi has or had or whatever, that he'd be like one of the richest people in the world based on the current Bitcoin price. So it'd be very interesting to see if we ever learn his, her, or their identity, if it's a group. I mean, shoot, some people, there's all sorts of crazy conspiracies about who Satoshi could be.
I think producer AB Satoshi, smash the like button if you guys agree. I think producer AB Satoshi.
I don't think anyone's ever seen me and Satoshi in the same room. I'll say that much.
There you go, man. Producer AB has got the Satoshi vibe. He knew a little bit too much about Bitcoin. Like, you saw that, like he's been watching the calls. He's been watching. I think producer AB might be Satoshi. By the way, if you guys haven't already, do us a solid and smash that like button. I think this is one of the most fun streams we've had in a while. So smash that like.
Yes, sir.
Grant's asking for my Twitter. Grant, my Twitter is at Ryan Rozbiani. You could just put my name in. I think it's in the description of the video as well. Just go into the description of the video, click the link, and you can get your hands on that Twitter account. Do we have time for more stocks, or do we got to wrap it up?
Yes, sir. Let's keep going.
Awesome.
Let's go. Well, real quick, I want to go back to Coinbase because I saw some people in the oh, see, now we got comments saying Ryan is Satoshi. That could be a
what?
You were trying to pull one on them, like
Eden, if I was Satoshi, man, come on.
Else. But
this would be, if I was Satoshi, this would be Gibson SG, not an Epiphone SG. The guitar players in the chat will understand that reference.
I think we had some people hop in since last time we looked at coin, and people were asking for some price points, and that's the thing. I mean, it's impossible to know for like what it's going to do tomorrow. It's too early to make some of these price targets based on the technical analysis because the chart is, as you said, it's still so new. I think it will be very interesting tonight to see, if it's in the ARC email, and honestly, I think I'm waiting for it to drop back down to that like 310, 300 level. If it doesn't, then I missed out. But if it does, then I'll be able to get in at what I feel like is a good price.
I think this little area, this little box area that we've created here, I think within this area is a good price point, a even better price point area to get in. Let's build another box for our amazing viewers. Would be right here. Would be this box down here. If you can get into this box area between 310, 320, 300 to 320, if you can get into there, that's solid. Paying a few bucks more for a few shares, unless you're buying like 1,000 shares, buying like 315 versus 320 versus 325 isn't a huge difference.
That's what I was gonna say. If you're waiting it to get down to like a very specific 310 and you really want to get in, don't do that. Like, be okay getting in at 312, 313, because at the end of the day, these are long-term investments. Well, if you are buying and holding, if you're trading, like day trading, it might be a little different. You might be just trying to get like a few percentage, but I mean, yeah, I want to see it drop back down a little bit more before I get in. But if you did get in early, if you did get in at 380, I would just kind of sit on the sideline for a minute, see if you can average your price down, and yeah, this will be a fun one to watch over the next week or two.
Jones is saying he bought at 380 and then he bought at 312. So that's a solid average right there. Like, because of course you can end up in a situation where it's like an Airbnb and the stock just keeps going even on a huge IPO like this. So just keep an eye on that and just make sure that everything kind of plays out to your advantage. So
I saw someone in the chat ask for Disney. We haven't looked at Disney, I don't think, maybe ever or in a while.
We haven't. Let's talk about Disney. One of my favorite stocks for the next 10 years is Disney. Huge entertainment monster in the making. They haven't even started their growth this year that we've seen since March. Let me just pull up the RSI to show you guys and the MACD of how we're operating. So the stock wants to reverse But again, with everything going on in the market, RSI is showing me it will reverse soon. Again, we've had a massive, massive growth with this stock. Just take a look at it last March. Around this time was when I made a purchase of Disney. I got very, very lucky, and I took a bet on the mouse. You can't bet against the mouse. And the stock has been growing. My fundamentals that I use to kind of base it off of this, Disney Plus, the massive catalog of Disney proprietaries, all the tech behind Disney that they have. People don't really talk about Disney as a tech company, but it's got a lot of tech in terms of animation. So we have to keep that in mind. So it's got massive growth, and I think it's getting ready for its next leg up to finally recover from this red and maybe, just maybe, come back to that $200 price point in the coming days to weeks. But we'll definitely have to see how that operates. I like Disney a lot long term. Again, to me, this isn't a swing trade stock. You could swing trade it based off of the chart right here. It's telling you that a reversal is coming. It's got resistance that we saw that was met today at 190. It had a nice solid day of a 1% gainer, which again, to folks in the penny stock world is, hey, this is nothing. But again, in the blue chip world, 1% is a big, big jump. So you've got this gap here that was filled. You got gaps down here, but I think these gaps are negligible at this point because we are so far out from where these gaps were. I don't imagine Disney coming back to 127 unless you're a super Disney bear that hates Disney so much. You can see it coming down here, but I think that they were one of the companies that launched their streaming platform right before COVID was happening, so they were able to continue their entertainment via that platform.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I like about Disney right now is you can play it as like a recovery stock. You know, the parks opening back up, the economy recovery.
I completely forgot about that angle.
And there's just so many. I mean, that's one of the things that, like, if we could go back to last March, right? I think Disney was trading at or actually here,
in the 90s.
Well, yeah, but pull up like the 2 years. So before COVID, it was at like 150 or somewhere around there, maybe.
This area. So this is March right here. This
right, but right before COVID, where was it at?
140s, 145 to
140s, and it went all the way down to like 90. And it's like everyone knew Disney's not going anywhere, right?
Right.
And so that was like a one that it's tough, but that was a good buying opportunity there. But I still think it's a good buying opportunity now. Let's see. I'm trying to see other tickers that we've got coming in the chat. I saw someone. Birds walk, cats fly is asking for Southwest. Love LUV.
Sure.
This is one of my favorite stocks right now.
Also a very good airline. These guys are a very good airline, and Delta is a very good airline just to fly with. Just complete fundamentals out the door just to fly with. That's another thing. The reason I personally bought a lot of Delta stock is I listen to a lot of comedy podcasts. Comedians travel a lot, and they talk about these airliners all the time. Joey Diaz, as you probably may know him, is a super picky guy, but loves Delta, loves Southwest. So that's why you can use many multivariable things in your head to kind of figure out what stocks you want to buy in any sector. You don't have to just go for the cheapest one or the most fundamental one. Ultimately, quality is what shines in these. But take a look at Southwest, fully recovered and exceeded back to its highs of 2018 today. Take a look at this. This is a fantastic chart.
Wait, this is funny. I was talking about how much I love it, but Birds Walk, Cats Fly asked about it because he said he likes puts on the earnings next week. So let's see if they're reporting earnings next week. That will be for not obviously this current quarter, but the previous quarters. So that would be
the
from
December area, the holiday season. Though that's the thing, though. It might not be bad. It might not be as bad as we seem. Take a look at. I would if I was someone who wants to play it. I didn't look at Delta's last earnings. I think Delta was one of the first airliners to report. See how they did, and I would use that as a parallel use case for Southwest because
I think Delta's earnings are coming out either tomorrow or sometime this week. So yeah, we could be able to watch Delta's before Southwest. And I mean, you can't always expect the same thing, but if Delta smashes earnings, it'd be hard to believe that Southwest wouldn't have strong earnings too, and the same thing vice versa. If Delta reports really poor earnings, it'd be hard to imagine Southwest reporting great earnings. So I honestly, since I do like Southwest the stock, maybe if they do report bad earnings, maybe I just buy in on that dip.
Thank you. I need more people like you with this methodology. Use the crappy earnings as an advantage to get into stocks that you like. If the earnings are really bad and it changes your mind on a company, allow that to change your mind. But like, for example, Apple had really, really good earnings last quarter, $1 billion in sales, but the stock dropped. What does that mean to me? That means there's people selling off and taking profits. That's creating a buying opportunity for me. And I go in and I buy the dip, quote unquote, buy the dip, because apparently legally we can't say buy the dip. Jeff Warren has a really good comment about Disney. Jeff says, by the way, Sung Kim, thank you so much for the super chat. Jeff Warren says, my number one issue with Disney is always who is left to buy. I've literally never seen an analyst bearish on Disney on CNBC. Who cares about CNBC? Man, we're on Benzinga, the best network on the whole world. What is CNBC? Every big institution has been long in Disney for like 100 years. That's true, Jeff. Great assumption, but also, Jeff, keep in mind that all these institutions and all these funds will always have to rebalance their positions to be able to have more or less of a certain stock, and they also rebalance their positions in their portfolios. So, for example, there are certain funds that are much bigger on Disney, so they'll need to buy more of the said stock when the price does come down. When you see these bearish intervals in Disney, they'll have to go and buy more. Also, every single day you have new hedge funds popping up, you have new institutional investors, you have new retail investors, and there's always going to be people buying and selling said stock. So a hedge fund could reduce their position from 10% to 8% in Disney and then come back and buy 2% again when the stock price comes down. So I never have that thought in my head of, okay, we're out of people to buy Disney or any stock. It's just a matter of finding the right time to buy the stock, and even better than finding a right time, dollar cost averaging and buying, I don't know, 1 share a month. Let's say you want to build a position of 10 shares or 12 shares a year, buy 1 share a month. You'll see how clean your average comes out at that point across the board.
All right, y'all. Let me. We got 420 people watching here on YouTube. We got 69. Whoa. We got 420 people watching, 69 likes. Let's get up to 100 likes real quick, and then we'll be able to go through another chart. Otherwise, we might have to, just go back to Coinbase and wrap it up. But if we get up to 100 real quick, we can get some more charts in from the chat.
Get us to 100 likes. Come on, folks. You guys are fantastic. I always have a pleasure of being able to talk to you all in the chat via Twitter. Let's do this. Let's show producer AB. We want to keep this show on the air. I'm having a lot of fun with you guys. So you keep the questions coming. The second we hit 100 likes, we will scoop one of your questions out. We will jump into the charts, and we'll have some fun. We're a few likes away. Let's do it.
Let's see. I'm trying to see if we have any good. The other thing, too, about Jeff Warren's comment, is I agree there probably aren't a lot of bearish analysts or anything on Disney, but there's some probably other stocks like Apple, Amazon that, had all 100% buy ratings. And look at those if you would have just not, not taken those because they had 100% buy ratings. And it's at the end of the day, analysts aren't right all the time, but they do this for a living. And if,
and some analysts have vested interest in certain positions. So
let's go. We got it. We're at 106. We get to go through a couple more charts from the chat.
Fantastic. Just real quick, I want to touch on that. So you'll see, for example, JP Morgan taking a huge stance against Tesla, but a huge stance for NIO. So apparently, I haven't ever checked this, but apparently they have a big position in NIO, or they have a vested interest in NIO. So be careful. Learn how to become your own analyst too at a certain point. So I see a really good ticker in this chat, a ticker that's been problematic, but a ticker that's been fun, FBIO. I just want to make sure Leonardo pointed it out. FBIO is a ticker that I've had trouble with in the past, that's had some trouble this week, but it's one of those really, really good tickers that you can use and take advantage of when they're in trouble for a bounce back. So let's take a look. So here they had some very bad PDUFA news back in October, took a massive dive. Again, they were struggling. Recently, just a few days ago, again, they had bad PDUFA news. The stock fell. But if you look here, the stock tumbled. I'm going to try, let me see if I can pull up let me get a 2-hour chart on this thing. I want to try to show you the big dip. Come on, load for me. There it is. I'm sorry, I went too far back. So you see the on the 21st. So real quick, I'm just going to do a quick Google FBIO PDUFA date. I believe it was on the 13th, but I want to make sure I don't screw this up, because I want to, this is a strategy that people can use to kind of, so the PDUFA was on the 12th. Okay, perfect. So PDUFA was on the 12th. So let me go back to the actual chart. PDUFA on the 12th. Where are we? This is the 12th. So see here, this is a 2-hour chart. So you'll see a massive stagnation and a dump that occurred here on the 12th. Let me go back to the daily chart. Again, I just want to parallel and show. So on the 12th, you saw here, you have a run up into PDUFA, and sometimes you have a sell off into PDUFAs. Run up into PDUFA is usually a good sign, but also not a confirmation. Sell off into PDUFA is a very, very bad sign, but again, cannot be confirmed that this will result in it because PDUFA is, you're coming from a third party source. They had a big drop here. It's only showing 0.7%. Why? Because if you go back to the 2-hour chart intraday, you'll see that this dip that happened was bought back up into the intraday. So you had the dip, and then you had people buying back in because they were like, hey, we like PDUFA, we like FBIO. Again, this is a company, these are bio plays. COIN Bio is who you got to go to for these plays. But coming from a technical standpoint, I've seen this time and time again. When FBIO has a bad PDUFA, it takes a huge dive, it comes down for a long time, and then it begins to bounce. So you can probably use it as a bounce play. But from a bio standpoint, I'm not very good at bio. I can't really help you there. Producer AB, do you got any tickers for us?
Oh, I mean, I was just gonna put up this comment from Birds Walk.
Hit me.
Hold Apple always. I love it.
He just became my favorite viewer. I agree. I love Apple. Apple is fantastic. Just a heads up, if anyone wants to buy Apple, I'm just kidding. I'm not selling Apple. But on 420, they have an event. They've been notorious for, after the event, the stock coming down. The stock runs up into the event, and then the stock comes down during the events. Again, can't confirm that happens every single time. I've just seen it happen so often.
What often happens with Apple, though, is that so they have a special event coming up on 420, obviously. And what often happens, even with earnings, is people will in anticipation buy it up, and it'll run up 5% or so, and then on the news have a little sell off. So right. I mean, I'm not saying that if you buy it right now it's going to be higher than it is a week, but more so than anything else, I feel confident that if you buy and hold Apple, and then 3 years from now it'll be, I mean, it's like the three certainties in life, right? Death, taxes, and Apple stock going up.
Yeah. You got the Apple car coming too, so let's not forget about that.
See about that. Maybe that's what 420 will be, Apple car.
Oh, I was thinking maybe it's an Apple bong because it's on 420, but again, that's just me. Just look at Apple's chart.
Oh shoot, we're on Apple now. I still have the Matt's talking about Microsoft too, which I do also really like. Microsoft. No, stay on Apple for a second. I'm just fixing the banner, but Microsoft, has been very, very strong over the past, not just year or 2 years, but 5 years. And what I really like about Microsoft is it seems like they're one of the only ones able to compete with Amazon kind of in the cloud storage space, right? Amazon put a lot of money into the cloud, and obviously Amazon dominates that space, but everyone needs competition. So Microsoft kind of offers that to Amazon as well. Microsoft spends more money than their competitors in R&D, and that's a sign that I really like. That means the company is invested in long-term, in their growth and long-term, versus like they're not spending as much money on advertising or marketing or that stuff. They're putting it straight into the R&D, the research and development of their products, services. And so yeah, but same with Apple. I mean, I think Apple and Microsoft will continue to be really strong.
I completely agree. It's a strong stock. Just take a look at it. Even post-stock split, it is fighting to get to that. A good point. Their
acquisitions are crazy. Microsoft is just going left and right, buying Discord. They tried to buy TikTok. I think it's fun to find these little mid cap, small cap stocks that fly, but at the end of the day, some of these Microsofts, Apples are just offer great returns.
I completely agree. I'm with you on that.
Matt's asking if Microsoft is a long-term AI play. Yeah, I'd say so. They're one of the biggest technology companies in the world. There's no way they're not getting into AI.
And didn't they just acquire that AI company recently, just a few days ago? Nuov or something like that?
All right, Ryan, let's go through. We got Apple up now. Let's pick one more good one from the chat, and we'll call it a day. We've been here over an hour. We've been a little over time today since we're having so much fun, but we'll be back.
We'll definitely be back. All right, let's close it off on a good one. GHIV. Adam's asking about GHIV. Gore's Capital. Let's end it on a SPAC.
SPAC that went public with which one? Lucid?
No, Gores is the one
Oh, that
that's
was
doing like
CCIV.
the home imaging. Yeah, the CCIV is these guys are doing the home Matterport, the home 3D imaging company. Very very cool technology. I like this. I like this company. I haven't invested in them for full transparency, but again, let's take a look at the chart. Again, just like most other SPACs, it's taking a beating, but it is still holding this $13 price point, which is great. It's above the $10 area where most SPACs are, which is the sign of confidence in Gores. It's a sign of confidence in Matterport, but the stock is headed in a downward trend based off the MACD. RSI is flat, so that gives me hope that we're going to probably stay and hold this $13 support area into the next coming days or weeks. But again, I have hopes for SPACs. I have hopes for Matterport. I like their company and their tech. I watched their interview with Meet Kevin. The CEO had an interview with Meet Kevin. So I like the CEO a lot, very knowledgeable person. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this company plays out into the next coming years as it SPACs and comes to the public stock market.
Beautiful. All right, Ryan. Well, I had a lot of fun today. I hope y'all did
Miss
in
you,
the
man.
chat. Please smash the like for Ryan. He's the champion going through charts from the chat. He just don't stop. And we'll be back for more action. Any final words, Ryan?
No, guys, just thank you so much for watching. Smash the like if you haven't, and producer AB and everyone at Benzinga, thank you so much for another fun stream.
Yes, sir. And as I said, we'll be back for more.
We'll
Y'all
be
have
back.
a good evening.
Good night, everyone.